Good evening everybody, welcome to the studio this evening, and I'm going to have a go at doing something a little bit new tonight again, with thanks to the fella whose name has escaped me from last night that taught me a new weave. I'm going to do another one, not of the same thing, of a different weave. So, beading needle, for which I will need some thread, but I'm also going to go with some coloured beads. I've got some black, some red, some green and some blue. I'm just going to see what happens. I wish I could open these things. Okay. I'm trying to be careful, because if I'm not careful I'll pop the top and beads will go absolutely everywhere. You just know it's going to happen. Now that looks like the pictures I've seen of caviar. I've only seen pictures, never seen the real stuff. Right. Red. Okay. As is usual when I'm doing some of these things, I have no idea what I'm going to be doing. Well, I know what I'm going to try and do. I have no idea how to do it. We shall find out whether I can actually do it or not. Green beads. Shiny beads. Lots of shiny beads. And blue. Dark royal, lovely, saturated looking blue. It helps if I try and take the top off rather than the bottom. Definitely works a lot better. Right, so now I also need some thread. Now I'm going to have a go at right angled weave. Right angled weave you can do with 2 needles. I'm going to do it with 1. So I'm going to want about I've no idea how long, but we'll start with about that much, which is probably about as long as I can handle. Cut this off. Ow! It's not a good idea to jab yourself with a scalpel. They're sharp. Right, took that out of the way. Now then, one of the tips I learnt was to squeeze the end with a pair of pliers. Makes it easier to thread the needle. That's easier, not easy. And it definitely seems to work. Okie dokie. Right, well, in theory, let's have a starter bead, or just a, what do you call it, a stopper bead. So I'll just nick one of these white ones out of here. I'm not using white, therefore it should stand out as being what it is, a stopper bead. I might have said starter before, but now if I'm not careful, this is the point where I pull this through and pull it right off the end of the thread. That much will, I don't know, how much do I want to leave? A tail about that long. Thread the needle back through. Keep the tail out of the way. Let's make that tail a bit longer. Yeah, about close to a foot. Right. So let's have a look. Okay, so I now have to picture a pattern in my head. I want 2 black, 2 red. Like that, and then I go back through all 4. Do that one. Well, yeah, let's go back to all 4 at this point. I probably don't need to, but it will reinforce just this starting point. And the point about the stopper bead, must have that somewhere near it. I probably won't need it in the next few moments, but now then, I actually want this to go around into a circle. Actually, I want it to go around into a square, but like that. Come on. This is a little bit fiddly, just about like everything else. When you first do it, everything's fiddly. That way. That way. That's not doing what I wanted it to do. Am I doing this right? I have absolutely no idea. Okay, where are we there? Red, black, red. Okay, like that. I want a red and 2 green. We go down through that bead there. That's correct, yep. Tail, get out of the way. Okay. Now I'm certainly probably going to have to tighten this up shortly, but for the minute I shall just carry on. Ah, good, that one has now dropped into place how I want it. So we go up through that green. Yes, you're going to be tiny, but we shall see. It might not work. If it doesn't, we can always abandon it. So I want one blue, 2 blue and a green, 2 blue and a green, and we go back up through that green. Thread's getting caught on my chair. So I'm going to go through there, and then I want to go through. That's what and I want to, and there. I want to go through a blue. Okay, working out this pattern as I go along. We'll probably get there in the end. And through that blue. And then I suspect I want a black at this point. Because this is where it wraps around into a tube. No, I don't want a black there, I want a blue. Then I go up through that black, and then I will pick up a black to go on the end of that. And hopefully this gets a bit easier to do from here on in. So I think I want a black here on the needle, and then go through that blue there. Now that should have closed the loop. Boy, does that look messy. Come down there. So, okay, let's just make sure then that I understand what's gone where. So, am I missing something? Okay. Through that green there. Through that red. Through that black, and then through the blue, and we should then I'll have almost a cube. And we go through that blue, and then we go up to the top and do the same thing again, and then we start and weave the next block. Get off my cushion. Okay. Right, now then. So, I've got one lot of colour in place. So what I'm going to do now is work out. We're going to go with a blue. And to black. 1, 2. And then we go back through that blue there. Through the green. And I want a green. And I want a blue. We go through that blue there, just the blue, not the green. Going back through that green. So just creating circles of colour here. Through that red, and we'll pick up then a red and a green, I believe. Yep, I think that's right. Red and a green. We go through that green there. And we'll go back through the red. Through that black. Through this black here. I think what we want then is a red. Yep. And we go down through this red here and pull everything tight. Come on, stop tying yourself in knots, thank you. Through the black, through the blue. Through the green and through the red. Okay, this is starting to work, so I want then a red. And 2 green. Back through there. And I want a black and a red. This wants a blue and a black. Totally making this pattern up as I go along. Well, I've got a pattern in mind, but it's sort of, I'm looking at it as I go along and just deciding on the colours that I want. I don't actually know what they should be until I actually go ahead and try and put them in. This next one will be a blue. Pull that through, then I don't tie a knot by accident. I think this may have been better done using larger beads, but we shall see. So blue, black, black, green and blue, red and green. I don't think I like that. Okay, I'm going to give this up because I don't like this. The design is fine, but when you look at it, there's just too much thread visible. I just zoom in a little, actually focus a little. There's just too much thread, so the bead, basically the beads are too small. Not surprising, these are 11 9 seed beads, but it was something worth trying, so we will give that up. And in fact, can I be cheapskate enough? I can be cheapskate enough. To recover the beads. Okay, so what I tried worked. I just add too much thread to the bead size. Something akin to having the wrong AR ratio on rings. So sort these colours out. I'll put 2 away and I will do another one of what I learnt yesterday. Practice makes quicker. So the question being, what colours to use? I'm thinking about using a dark blue core and I don't know, maybe yellow or white for the outer. So let's put black away. Like me, hello, good evening. Welcome. I just tried something and gave up. I need bigger beads to do what I just tried. But at least I learned something. So I'm going to have another go at something what you taught me last night. You've been at work all morning? Yeah, okay. It's Sunday for me, so I don't work Sundays. So I've been out and about doing a little bit of shopping. Just picked up some glue and a couple of little bits and pieces to do some crafting with. Oh, okay, you're a sound tech. Yeah. That would explain working Sunday. These are Nino. They're just some from the local shop. I got them just to play with, really, more than anything. With a couple of things in mind, so just to sort of experiment with. But Nino seed beads, nothing particularly fancy about them. Okay. I have no idea what that is, but I guess it's either an instrument or it's a soundboard. You see, here I am being rather miserly. I am picking up every single bead. A 16-line soundboard. Ah, okay. I guessed half right then. I just want to put those white ones away. Oh, get one out, spill 6. I'll put one away and spill 6. There we go. Blue and yellow. Yeah, why not? Blue and yellow. Take the top off, I'll do a lot better. I need more than that. Right, so let's see if I can remember what you taught me. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now this end is a little short, but because I'm not wasting thread either. Oh, blimey. That sounds like a lot of hard work. Sounds like it could be interesting as well, but sounds like a lot of hard work. One of these. So, sound technician. Sounds like you're acting as producer and as well. Four, 3. Just like you told me yesterday. So 4 blue, 3 yellow, and then 1 and 3. I managed to complete the other one just after the stream. I actually put a magnetic clasp on it, and as predicted, Lady Zara went, "Wow!" Yes, she did, she says. You do it all. Yeah, it certainly sounds like it. Multi-talented, you say, multi-talented. Which is my problem at the moment. I've got too many. Too many talents and not enough specialism. 1, 2, 3. Oh, live mixing. Blimey. Well, I guess obviously you're good enough to do live mixing, so the nearest I've got to anything like that is thinking I may want a soundboard at some point in the future, and it would be a long way in the future, so I've got an analog mic. Was it a Rode M5, which actually will mean something to you, I suspect. Yeah, okay. See, I don't really know what I'm talking about, but it sort of, yeah, I suppose you can't really rehearse that sort of thing, can you, too much? So is there something particularly stopping you doing studio work, or just that you prefer what you're doing, or you do less varied stuff in a studio, or just there aren't any? It would be 10 times easier. Yeah. Has this... no, I think it's... oh, I see. Okay. Well, it sounds like it certainly sounds like if you're good enough to do that sort of thing, you probably could do it in the studio. The problem, I guess, is going to be convincing one of them to let you that you have the experience to be able to do it. And 2 boards. Oh, blimey. Yeah, so... yeah, well, music concerts are next, are they? Yeah, big arenas. 50-line board. And a lot of that all just seems to be computer driven, shall I say, and all predefined. Okay. You only work events, alright, yeah. Well, at the moment, I may not have a job next week, so it remains to be seen. One, 2, 3. So when you work events there, is it sound or is it just general? Don't mean to be disparaging anyway, general sort of auditorium work. You only do sound, okay. So you do the sound, which means you don't listen to the concert or whatever it is that's going on the event. Oh dear. Yeah. A long time ago I used to do some communication stuff, and I've been to a couple of outdoor concerts and to do that, and lots of people were saying, oh, you got to go see whatever it is, and it's kind of like, no, I was working, I didn't see anything. I didn't even hear much of it. Yeah, but there's a difference, isn't there, between when you like mixing, you're not listening to enjoy it as such. You're listening to balance the sound or produce the sound that you're after, as opposed to actually sort of sitting back and listening. It's a completely different. I'm assuming it's a completely different thing. One of the jobs I held was at one point was in a television control centre, and we used to have 4, 6 screens TV going all the time, and a lot of people used to sort of be quite jealous of the fact that you could watch programs, but they were on, but you were looking at things like picture quality and sound quality and just generally always looking for problems and things, and you kind of never really watched the programs. You saw them, but you didn't actually watch them. Hey, that's not bad. Of course, I'm saying that's not bad because somebody actually asked for you. Unfortunately, I have no idea who that is. Music and things. I listen to what I like. I don't necessarily sort of just follow a particular band or something like that. I mean, you get bands obviously that do a lot of what you like, but I listen to a lot of like Status Quo, for example, but I wouldn't describe myself as a Status Quo fan. It's just a lot of what they play I like. Oh, very possibly. It's there's a lot of things like like that. Huge in the 90s, maybe, but I was born in the 60s. So, I don't know. Chris Isaac, Lady Zara?
No.
No. Is he international? Lady Zara doesn't know that. Lady Zara is one reasonably well knows some music anyway. Huge in the 90s. A big band? 60s to 80s. Well, apparently he was 90s. Huge in the 90s. You sort of just forgot about the 90s. Okay. Wicked game. No. Let's just say if I heard the music I might recognise it, but I'd be recognising the music, not the artist. Okay, I'll actually take a look at that after the stream. Like me, I don't play music on the stream to save the problem of copyright strike. The music that you may be hearing, which is sort of just background music, is it's not copyright free, but it's copyright. It can be played royalty free by attribution. And below my stream window is the attribution. Two, three. You see, you've started something, you know, now, like me, with teaching me this particular way of beading. You've started something. You saw me I think when you joined, you saw me taking about a right angle weave, for which these beads were just too small. But I'll have to maybe at some point get some bigger ones and try that again with some bigger ones. But I now have lots of seed beads, all in different colours. So. You've been what, say? You're into Jeff Lynne?
No, we're going to Jeff Lynne.
Oh, you're going to Jeff Lynne? Okay. ELO? There you go. I've remembered.
Current.
Sorry?
That's current for us.
Current. Okay. Yeah, the ELO are doing some concerts over here in the UK, aren't they? I do love this design, that spiral. I am going to definitely be using it with some chain as well, I think. Okay, it's going through any bead but the one I want. Right. Well, for anybody watching, this of course is bead weaving. Do you weave beads like this? Not quite sure. Not doing any carving at the moment, which I am halfway through a piece. If anybody dropped in sort of last week, I'm really not in the mood for working with sharp chisels at the moment, but this is really rather nice and relaxing, so which is something I kind of need at the moment. So I am doing bead weaving, which Blight Me there taught me last night fairly well, managing to even talk me out of the mistake that I made without realising it, and put me back on the right track to completing a bracelet which Lady Zara really likes and enjoys having. So if you've not checked out Blight Me, who does stream, then do so. Reckon it's worth doing. So far I've seen him doing 3D printing and weaving perler beads, not ironing them, weaving them, and doing some bead weaving as well. Also, if I recall correctly, you also make robots and light sculptures and other things as well. Feel free to say if you want to add anything to that, Blight Me. Small bead rotate, try cubic style. Cubic style. I have got a feeling that's what I was doing. So that's 4 beads in a circle. Then, basic. I know you do it in a long row, but 3 beads added to that. Then 3 beads added to that. Then 2 beads to make a cube, and then reinforce that, stack, and then stack another cube on top, and so on. Is that cubic style? Or am I totally wrong on that one? If I am, I will look it up after the stream. I always like to try new stuff. Right, that's long enough to get rid of that tail. It's not going to be long before I got to join another length of thread to this. Which isn't as easy as it is in peyote stitch, because I had to do it last night. I was about 3 inches short of what I needed to finish off. It was a little bit annoying, being that short. I couldn't quite stretch the cord. When I do cross stitch, sometimes I'll thread the needle backwards through the material because the tail is just too short, and I couldn't even do that. It was just too short to even do that, and it was a little bit irritating. About an inch or two short. I had to tie on a new length. Yeah, that's what I was doing. Not as intricate as that by any means, like me. It was just a simple tube. Yeah, tube. Just to create a cord. Wow. What size beads are those? Because I mean, these are 9/0s. And what it looked like, what it came out looking like, was there's just too much thread. So it kind of looked like you glued them together, and there was just glue all over the place. I'm using sort of crystal, but it just really looked, yeah. Which is why I pulled it apart, and I figured it's like aspect ratio. I needed a little bit bigger bead to do that. I like the little accents, flowers, the crystals in the middle, and the little copper. Well, it looks like a copper or red copper bead in the middle. That's really nice. So what did that turn into? Sort of a clasp cuff or something? I mean, the way you studied up, it looks like it was almost like a bangle. Size 11. Yeah. Double wall. It's a cuff. Okay. Yeah, I could see how you've created the queue basically in the middle. What's the 11 now? Okay, maybe it's because they're dark beads and you've used dark thread. But when I did it, it just, I mean, I even showed Lady Zara, and it just the bunching of all the crystal thread as as you go through multiple times through the same area sometimes. And it just looked like you'd dropped glue in there and it sort of strung out, and it just really didn't look really nice. And sort of with these even though I used sort of, I mean, I tried, well, you saw me putting the colours away, but I was using some dark colours. Mind you, that's probably why. If I'd have used a dark, maybe a smoke thread, it might have looked better. Okay. Well, yeah, I got yeah. That kind of makes sense given given the thickness of the stars. I tell you what, I was looking at after the stream last night, Fire Mountain in the States. That obviously your favourite, one of your favourite stores, and there's some really nice stuff in there. I was looking at some of the Swarovski crystal stuff as well. Oh, that's Naima. Okay, coloured with the marker. Right. That's quite. I was about to say that's quite thick. Or I thought it was quite thick, relatively speaking. I did pick a. I did pick a. He says, trying to find the camera. It's there somewhere. Some just from the local shop, just to see, try it. So I did try some, and I remember you talking about beeswax, and I think we've got some around because I think I mentioned Lady Zara used to make candles, so I'm sure we've got some beeswax around the place. It's not dark. Okay. Hello. Can you ask a question? Yes, you can. 3 colours and clear. Yeah. Well, it looks like solid brown, solid red, and then the. It's not dark thread. Okay, it may be the lighting. I can see one of the threads that looks sort of a light purple. The other one looks black to me. That I can see coming out at the right hand side. You see, I've just got a lot to learn. Pre-stretch. Okay. Grab them. See, I like producing beautiful things and shiny things. So anything sort of interests me like that. So I got some to have a go with that. Was Twitch working just now? As far as I know, Twitch has been working. Just before I started the stream, Eat More Chips, I did have a problem getting the dashboard for a little bit, but it did pop up. As far as I know, I can't easily monitor my own stream coming back. It sort of just crashes for some reason. No idea why, because I've got enough bandwidth to do it. Yeah, and just before my stream, I was watching another channel. I was watching Slowpoke 101 playing FTB. They may have had a problem. Thing is, once you're attached to a stream, though, you generally don't have too much of a problem unless the output server dies. Unless you go looking for other channels, it's sort of it's almost the rule. You don't if you get a stream, don't refresh. But I've been streaming for an hour and a half now, eating more chips, so I've no idea. It's not complained at me. Do you have a website or anything where you put up some of the designs that you do, like me? Because the stuff that I've seen so far, which is sort of a couple of things, have been really beautiful to look at. 4 screens, full screen. I'm not sure I could handle 4 HD streams. I've only got about 50 meg at the moment. But plus I actually can't see one of my monitors. So I'm guessing you have 4, or do you have multiple machines like me? Because I know watching your stream the other day, it seemed like you had the chat on a completely different window machine. Oh, and no social media. Oh, okay. Thank you. I suppose that does have its advantage, that nobody can easily copy what you do. Although I guess technically I am copying what you do at the moment. I kind of I used to have well, I still do have 3 identical Samsung monitors, of which one's put away at the moment, but I've got a Wacom screen, Cintiq 24, and limited desk space. So at the moment I've got a monitor just in front of me, standard monitor, the Wacom's to the right, and the third monitor is behind it. The graphics card will only drive 3, won't drive 4, otherwise I'd have found somewhere to put the other one. But with the Wacom up in its sort of just screen mode, it actually hides the other monitor. So when I'm drawing on it, I generally lower it down so it's sort of drawing desk style, and then the other monitor's directly behind, and I put reference pictures and things up on it there. Okay. Yeah. It just seemed you were sort of doing that in relation to, yeah, you seem to be looking too far to the right, shall I say, for what I would have thought would have been just a second monitor. But I kind of would love to do that sort of layout for something like Euro Truck Simulator, where I could put use the 3 monitors for the wide screen, so to speak, and have sort of side views out the two side monitors and a front view out of the standard monitor. Not quite as good as full VR, but my graphics card won't handle an Oculus Rift. which is a pity. I was looking forward. I was looking forward to getting an Oculus Rift, but I need a brand new graphics card, and that ain't happening. So what are they? 27s, 32s? I have thought more than once. I've got a I've got a Raspberry Pi attached to a small screen. So it's sort of a graphics tablet style, but it's not a touch screen. It's just bonded to the back of the screen. And I keep thinking, what I'll actually have to do is run chat on that and just sit it here right in front of me, because that way I can see it without looking up at the screen. A GTX 760, yeah. Mine's older than that. Can't actually. Radeon, it's probably a Radeon 9800, I think, off the top of my head. It's an old card. I mean, it was a good card at the time. It was one of the, if not one, actually the best card at the time. But and it's done its job. I mean, it still runs everything I ask it to run. It's running 3 monitors at the same time. One of them's sort of 2280, I think. The other's a 19 full HD anyway, 1080 by whatever, 1920. So it's I've an i7 processor in there, so even though that's sort of fairly lowly clocked, it keeps up reasonably well. But if I get another graphics card, not only is it expensive for the card, I need a water cooling. Well, I don't need, but I'd want a water cooling block on it as well. And then you suddenly start adding extra money for that. Yeah. Yeah, I love having the extra monitors for all sorts of things. I just kind of wish I could practically use the third monitor, but not at the moment. More space again. I don't have a wide enough desk to have 3 monitors, to have the large Wacom with the other 2 side by side. And whilst I've got a USB drive, screen drive, I don't want to do that because it'll just drop the whole video performance anyway. So you're certainly right about practicing making this faster. It took about three hours or 3.5 hours last night to do the one. I've been doing this about an hour and I'm about halfway through this. One, two, three. Yeah. Oh, it certainly seemed to be. It throws out quite a bit of light as well. One of the things when I hopefully when I move studios, I do have virtually a max length USB cord somewhere around here, and I intend it sort of to have the computer on sort of in one place and the cameras in another place, so that I don't have keyboard and things around, and I can have a full desk. So it's going to do the same thing. Long USB cord. Actually, I can't do that, he says, suddenly thinking, because I've only got USB 2. I don't have USB 3 unless I buy a USB 3 plug-in card, and USB 2 isn't fast enough to run 2 cameras, which is one of the problems I discovered when I first plugged in 2 cameras. I plugged them both into the same hub, and it took a long time to work out why only one camera would come up. And then it was, and even then I kind of didn't realise, and you unplug it, plug it in elsewhere, and it didn't work. And I kind of eventually sussed out what was going on, and then I had to sort of spend ages hunting through the config to find out which ports were connected to which root hubs, so that I could actually get them on different USB hubs and actually have enough bandwidth. All of them? Are you using USB 3 then? But then again, this camera, the main camera, is an HD camera. It's a 1080 1920 by 1080, so it's full HD. And when I sit down, I did sit down and work out the bandwidth. What's USB 2 is 12 megs, is it? This is a 640 by 480 camera. It's an old one, but when I sat down and worked it out, the two together exceeded the bandwidth of USB 2. So what would happen is the PC would fire one of them up, then ask for bandwidth for the other one, and be refused, basically. So it would never start both cameras. Yeah, it's not the devices. It's not actually the count of devices. That's the problem. It's the bandwidth. 172. I thought it was 120. Yeah, 127. That's a typo, I think. It is, but you've got a bandwidth limitation. It depends on the protocol as well that's being run. So with USB 2 you can, if I recall correctly, you can request dedicated bandwidth, which I think is what the camera drivers do, and so it's reserved. So whilst you can still have the number of devices, you only so many can talk at once. Yeah. You're okay as long. I mean, I think my camera, the mic, I think, is on the same as the HD cam. And probably a couple of other USB devices as well are on the same controller. It would recognise the camera. It just wouldn't start it. It just wouldn't tell you either why it wouldn't start. I spent about a week trying to work out what was going on, and when I eventually moved the hub, it just started up first time, and it's 60 meg per second. USB 2. Okay, maybe one of these is running in legacy mode. Maybe they're running in legacy mode then. I'll have to check. That could be why. If they're only in the 12 in the 12 meg mode. I think it's 12, isn't it? Like for USB 2, high speed rather than full speed. It certainly works. As soon as I put one of the cameras on a different root hub, they're fired up, no problem at all. Put them both on the same hub and it won't have it. I'm trying to think actually. I mean, it's always possible that I'm missing one of the motherboard drivers, perhaps, even though I don't think I'm missing any drivers. Yeah, USB 3 wouldn't be a problem at all. USB 3 has enough bandwidth to transfer raw video. Yeah. USB 3 has enough bandwidth to transfer raw broadcast quality video. It was a problem. Somebody else had the same problem with cameras as well, solved in exactly the same way. "3D bloke," that was it. Yeah, he had a problem with them, and once he moved the hub, it worked. Ow! They're not that sharp at beading needles, but sometimes when you get it just right. Yeah. It's I haven't really yeah, software is a bit one of the problems. Well, it's not the reason why I haven't bothered getting another camera, but it sort of contributes to it, and that is, I mean, this is a Logitech C920. It's a really nice camera. Well, that and the fact that it can't do purple. But if you've got two of them, the software almost can't tell them apart. You can only control one of them at a time. I guess unless you start playing with virtual machines or something, which is kind of a pain in the neck. So you can have zoom control on one of them, and it's arbitrary which one it picks. I understand. Or you can have and not on the other, which is a bit of a pain in the neck. But the problem with this camera is those beads. Let me take the lid off. So beads. These aren't beads. These are rings. And I don't know if you can see those. That's orange. Not bad. That's purple. And that's lavender, which I'm guessing you'll be familiar with as to the actual colours. And this camera just has a real problem with purples, and it's a generic camera problem. A couple of other streamers that I know of. Another one with rings has exactly the same problem. Another one, I don't know if you've seen him, see what happens with pipe cleaners. Purple pipe cleaners, they look this sort of funny luminous blue. So I'm kind of didn't want another camera with the same colour problem, and it's kind of a problem in that you have to buy the camera to find out if it's got a problem. You have to be in it every time. Okay. I don't have any problem unplugging this camera anyway, the low res camera. I'm not running any software on it, I'm just running standard drivers and OBS talking to it. So it's just running Windows. Windows found its own drivers for this this camera. This is running Logitech drivers, and the software, you know, such as it is, picks up okay. Alright. This is getting a little bit too short. Oh, come on. Should have applied a bit of attention to that thread before I did that, but never mind. Alright, let's have another length of thread. Shouldn't have done that. I shall also have to buy myself something like a 300-yard reel of this stuff, because I can see myself going through it quite quickly. I think I've done too good a job of flattening that end. That's it. Amazes me I can hit that eye of that needle at all. That's feeding that. Come on, thank you. Right. I'm forever flicking beads all over the place. I was doing that with when I was doing the peyote stitch stuff. It just went everywhere. Come on. I'm losing a bit of patience with this. I wonder what the chances are of me actually having got out exactly, tipped out exactly the right number of yellow beads for what I need. Sometimes happens with rings. Just by pure coincidence I end up with exactly what I wanted. I could almost play tiddlywinks with these. Now that's a game from the past. Probably unknown in this in these days of computer games and things. Hello there, pussycat. Looks like Junior's around. I don't know if he's going to pop into the stream, but I'm kind of hoping he doesn't with these beads around. But sorry? Oh, it's Felix, is it? Well, yeah. Okay. Sometimes I can't tell how three cats, but there's two male cats apart. Felix and Junior. Junior's usually the one who visits the stream. Felix does occasionally, but Felix doesn't like being restricted in any way or picked up or anything like that. He objects strenuously to it, but just at odd angles. The only way you can tell them apart sometimes is by the colour of the collar. They look completely different, but just as you see them, I say they look completely. The faces are completely different, and the fur patterns are completely different. But from the back, they largely look black, and so sometimes you can only tell them apart by the colour. But the daft thing is, Felix is dark brown and Junior is actually black, and yet you can only see that when they're side by side. Don't pull too hard when it's wrapped around the scalpel. You need a clear desk to do this. If you're doing it anywhere near a desk, that is. I can see sometimes it's getting really frustrating when it won't quite go through one of the beads. Right, well, I've just run out of yellow beads on the desk, so we are coming up to 10 o'clock at night, so rather than get any more out, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say that's it for tonight. We'll do some more, possibly some more beading tomorrow. See how things go, how I feel, and all these sorts of things. And we'll close down for tonight. I will point out to anybody that's watching, of course. I've got to get used to the camera being reversed. Facebook there, Etsy shop, zaragonart.etsy.com, where there are some lovely chain work jewellery items for sale, including now earrings and necklaces and bracelets. There's anklets there as well, and there's a couple of sets now, earrings and bracelets. Maybe tonight or tomorrow there'll be some 3-part sets, earrings, bracelets and necklaces, or earrings and necklaces, or bracelets and necklace, mix and match. Quite a few items there, so you know, you might like to check it out if you're after a gift for somebody. And there is, of course, there a coupon if you want to try out some chain jewellery. Here's one of the items that will be going up there shortly. I don't think it's already up there yet, but there will be at some point a necklace to go with this as well. There are earrings already there, or ready to go up, so you might like to check it out. In the meantime, I'm going to say thank you to everybody that's watching. Follow me, push the follow button if you'd like to be notified when I go live again. Also, you can follow me on Twitter. It says Zaragonart. I do tweet when I go live. I try and tweet when I can't go live, and the odd other thing happening arts and crafts wise, but not a great deal. If on the other hand you'd just like to try and catch me on my next stream, hopefully I'll be streaming tomorrow. Don't know, we'll see, but I'll try and let you know either way. So if I am, it'll be from about 8 PM UK time, 2000 hours GMT, UTC, whichever you use. They're both the same. In the meantime, from the White Rose of Yorkshire in the UK, have a great night, and we'll see you again in the future. Bye for now.